Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Goblin RIDES Podcast. Today, I'm joined by the lovely wifey. How you doing, wifey?
I'm good.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, news-wise, before we crack on, we're working with some dealers, and we should be getting on some bikes soon. So that would be good. I'm looking forward to that.
If people didn't know this podcast was like around bikes, they'd be like, "You're really brazen for saying you're working with dealers." Like it comes out a bit weird.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Motorcycle dealers.
Yes, that's true. Motorcycle dealers. Yeah. Yeah, I probably should have made that clear.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, the title of this podcast is going to be almost entirely not related to bikes.
No. Yeah.
So, yeah, I should probably make that clear. But, I've been approaching some motorcycle dealers to get some new partners going. And, yeah, there's been a lot of interest in working with these dealers. So, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have some new bikes to show off on the channel. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun, and including hopefully a Hayabusa.
Fingers crossed.
As well. That's one of the first bikes I want to try and get on the channel, because then that will complete the trio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll have the Desert R, we would have had the Blackbird, and then finally the Hayabusa, and then we can finally answer that question: which is best?
Yeah.
I think I already know which one it's going to be, but I'll leave that.
Hold that to yourself.
I'll leave that until
you've tried it, just in case.
Until we're there.
Just in case you have to eat your words.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to turn this down ever so slightly because it's peaking quite a lot. Okay. Right. And in a couple of weeks' time, we are going to be. Bless you.
Excuse me.
We are going to be going away. We are still on track, I believe, to have content out as usual. If you see a couple of podcasts and we're in the same clothes, then it's probably because we've shot 2 podcasts. We try to do them weekly, so they're as up to date as possible with things going on.
Yeah.
Over the next couple of weeks, that might not be the case, because we would have had to have shot it
back to back.
Well, kind of like not preemptively, but you know what I mean. To organise the content for the week that we were away. So we've got that going on. What else have we got going on? I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
I think so. Nothing else happening.
There's not a lot more than that. But okay, well, let's crack on then. Let's get on with the main topic of today's show. So this one's going to be totally different to usual, and we're going to be discussing mainly our influences, specifically around music. I think this is one of the things that we haven't really spoken about much, but because YouTube works in this way, where if you're making content around a certain topic that isn't related to the topic that YouTube is used to you publishing or posting, then it's not really going to know what to do with this content. So this is mainly going to be for people who are interested in us as people.
Yep.
Okay, and that's pretty much it. So want to get to know us a little bit more. We do these every once in a while, but it's been a little while since we've done anything like this.
And this is actually like a dedicated video, though.
Yes, yeah, it's not really like a side piece or something.
It's not like a Q&A. It's actually us chatting.
Yeah, because all of you probably know our motorcycle history and how we started and all that kind of stuff, but. I think this does tie in a little bit because motorcyclists and metal.
Oh yeah, they go hand in hand.
Go well together.
It's the stereotype, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think it's more so in America, in the United States, where people have this stereotype. Like the cruiser boys and that, where they're like they're into the whole metal scene and all that. Yeah. I mean, as you guys can probably tell, I'm wearing this lovely Slipknot t-shirt that wifey got for me recently, and wifey, you're wearing Parkway Drive, which fits.
I didn't say that.
It's because she's pregnant, or I'm not being rude. Yeah, I'm not calling her fat. But yeah, so this is, I think we're quite lucky because we are a couple who have very similar taste in music.
Yeah, I think we're really fortunate.
And not many I don't know any couples that have the same music taste. Maybe one couple that's coming to mind that I know of.
Yeah, I think, especially the fact that we actually like going to gigs together.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll go to these gigs, we'll go to these festivals together because we both enjoy it, not because one of us feels like, oh, I should go because you want to go. As that
is the case.
As it can be,
in a lot of situations. I mean, one of your friends is not into this kind of music, but her husband?
Yeah.
They're married, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, husband is very much into it as well.
And she goes... I mean, he does the same for her, to be fair. There's things like she wanted to see The Weeknd. I'm not sure if he was really into The Weeknd, but he took her anyway. And in return, she went to see Trivium with him. And I mean, she likes things like Avenged Sevenfold, but she's not.
Does she like it, or does she just say that because
I don't know.
It's her husband's music interest?
She says she likes it to me. I've never pressed it. I'm not like, name 5 songs. I've not kind of been like that with her. But yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, wifey also got this little cool baby grow, which I think is really neat. Oh, wrong camera. There we go. There you go. Look, matches daddy.
Yeah.
That's cool, isn't it?
I have a matching t-shirt, but I'm waiting until post-baby to wear it.
It's not. Don't get us wrong. We're not gonna dress this kid up in all metal stuff.
No,
don't worry about that.
It's just that this was something that was just.
Yeah.
It meant something, and I always envisioned having my kid in at least one metal baby grow, so I got it now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We don't dress like this all the time.
I hardly dress like this. I wear these
t-shirts on a weekly basis, but it's not all the time. I mean, to be fair, when I'm on a shoot, I tend to wear these kinds of t-shirts, but you don't really see it because it's just underneath the jacket and that. But
I my history of dressing has gone very much. I used to be a goth. We're not going to put any pictures in.
Boo.
Because you wouldn't recognise me anyway. I was about 8 times bigger than I am now. So I look completely different. You wouldn't probably even recognise it as me. I then went into rockabilly, which I absolutely loved. But it was a lot to maintain, and it was a lot of effort. And yeah, I mean, at Download, I mean, we can insert some pictures from Download or check my Instagram out. There's tons on there of me. I go full out for Download.
Of course, we are with our people.
Yeah, but I very rarely wear a band t-shirt nowadays unless I'm going to a gig or a festival. I don't know why. Nothing wrong with it. I just don't.
Yeah.
But I did get called a goth the other day at work because I have dark hair, which I think they think is dyed. I have.
This is totally natural hair.
This is all my hair.
Totally
colour,
natural.
length, everything's mine.
Yeah.
My eyeliner and my tattoos, and I was wearing a black t-shirt. And I was just like, it's because it fits. I'm wearing it because it fits and it's comfy.
Not because the black nails or anything give anything away.
Well, but yeah, I got called. They were like, "Are you a goth?" And I was like, "No,
not anymore.
not haven't been for about 18 years."
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny.
It is, and I don't know. I mean, it seems to be shifting the whole. You know how our taste in music. It used to be really big.
Yeah.
And every single year it seems to be dying just a little bit more. But we can talk about that a little bit later on. But I mean, for me, I don't remember a time where I wasn't into this music.
I do.
I don't remember it. I was. I do remember having this little cassette player. I mean, I was a 90s kid, well, we're both 90s kids, and I had this cassette player. And I remember having S Club 7, a tape of S Club 7 on it. But in terms of pop music, that's the only real time I remember listening to any kind of pop music. And my first kind of exposure, I guess, I don't know if it was my first or if it was my second. I can't remember. It might have been my first, but my first exposure to it, or one of, was Limp Bizkit.
Really?
One of my friends at the time from school. I remember it wasn't his birthday party. I don't think his birthday party was coming up at some point. But I was probably about 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. I think. And I remember he listened to Limp Bizkit, and it was, and I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with that music straight away. I don't know what it is that hooked me, but I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And it's quite sad actually, but I remember I wanted a Limp Bizkit album after that.
I think I remember this story.
Well, I asked my mum if she wouldn't mind picking up going to HMV, which you don't see many of those anymore, and buying me a CD of Limp Bizkit. And she went to go and buy one, and the staff member there said that this is a parental advisory album. They're swearing on it and things. And so she decided not to buy it.
Oh, no.
And instead, I mean, to be fair to her, she did try to give me like some kind of consolation thing, which was like a bag of sweets, which, okay, is nice. But I was really upset that I didn't get that Limp Bizkit album. And ever since then, I was just determined to get hold of this kind of music in whatever way I could. And I think it was in that like journey, exploration, whatever word you want to use, discovery, where I found Linkin Park.
Oh, right.
And there was one song in particular. It was One Step Closer.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Again, that song it just gripped me. And it's really weird because so my music influences, a lot of people, they get them from their fathers or their mothers or something like that. And my dad, to be fair, he enjoys listening to Black Sabbath. He enjoys listening to Creedence Clearwater.
Did they like Nirvana as well?
Yeah, he liked Nirvana as well. But it wasn't the same kind of music. This wasn't the same kind of thing. And even though I would also listen to Black Sabbath as well, I'd also listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers and, bands like that, kind of like that cover a little bit indie kind of music as well. My dad was not into Limp Bizkit. No. He was not into Linkin Park whatsoever. Yeah. I found those myself. Mm. But yeah, ever since I heard Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, I can't remember what songs they were. But I mean, also at the time when I was a kid, I was very much into my wrestling as well. And I have no doubt this also had a part to play in it, because a lot of the music that is involved in wrestling is also very metal inspired, or a lot of the entrance themes from the wrestlers were actual songs that bands had made. Like you have the game Triple H, his theme tune was done by Motorhead. Yeah,
that was really cool.
And that's a really cool entrance theme. Yeah. This is kind of like closer to the mid 2000s, but Edge had his Metalingus opening theme, which is done by Alter Bridge. Yeah. And it's songs like that again kept on kind of drawing me closer a bit more to the scene. There was also of course they played a lot of Limp Bizkit as well, funnily enough, in the WWE. Well, back then it was WWF. But yeah, it's I mean that's pretty much my background. The first album I ever bought of this kind of music actually was a real disappointment. I thought I couldn't go wrong with it, but it was Linkin Park, but it was their Reanimation album.
Oh no, you want Meteora, really?
So it was all remixes.
Yeah,
it was all remixes of songs on Hybrid Theory.
They're not bad, but they're just not, for me, they're just not Linkin Park songs.
Some of them were good. Others weren't so great. Yeah. I would have, but the thing is, I didn't know. I was a kid. I didn't know, and I didn't really know what I'd bought, but I still listened.
Of course.
To that album, even though it had, I think that was the album that had like Numb Encore.
I don't really like that song, I don't think.
No, it couldn't have been, because
that's with Jay-Z, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but it couldn't have been, because that Numb was on Meteora. Yeah. So this was a bit later on. So because I think a year or two later on, I did buy Meteora, and that was my first kind of like proper Linkin Park album. But
so my introduction to this music is very different to yours. And I was extremely privileged to live where I lived. So when I was like a young lass, I was into like S Club and Steps and all that sort of stuff that you would
Steps,
be into. And then, but my dad was, whenever we'd go out, we'd be listening to Led Zeppelin, Genesis, The Who, Queen, Yes, Supertramp, Pink Floyd. They're the sort of stuff that I would be listening to with my dad in the car. And
Genesis.
Yeah. But I started, listening to all that sort of stuff from a fairly young age. And then I don't quite remember how this happened. I think I started, so I've got 2 older brothers. One started listening to things like Funeral for a Friend. So I kind of started getting into that kind of heavier style at that point anyway.
When was this?
I can't remember, but it was...
Because Funeral for a Friend, they're a bit later on than that.
Maybe it wasn't...
They're like mid-2000s onwards.
Maybe it was... Oh, no. So, I remember when we moved into our new house, I was about 11. And that's... I think I wasn't really, like, into music that much at that point. I was drumming by that point, but I wasn't like really listening to a lot. I was definitely reading a lot more than I was listening to music. And then I moved rooms, and my eldest brother started playing something. It might have been Linkin Park as well. I was like, "Who's that?" And that's when he started showing me the stuff that he'd been listening to. And at that point, he was going to things. He was going to see like Bullet. I was like, "Oh my god, you're my idol."
So. Bullet is in Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah, sorry. It's, Bullet for Valentine. And I was
but again, that's mid-2000s again.
Yeah, but there was a gap between when he showed me music and when he started going to gigs, because he's 5 years older than me, remember? So he was getting this stuff and going to these things before me.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of gigs. So I used to live down by Brighton, and we have the Brighton Centre and the Concourse I've taken you to. And there was a festival called Taste of Chaos. So that was my first festival, but my first gig was Lost Prophets.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not a band that we're allowed to listen to anymore.
No. But that was my first gig. I remember I had a friend, and he was the only person who was kind of into the same music as me. So we'd go to that together, like to stuff together. But we went to...
That's so interesting, that, because I remember there were lots of kids as well at school that would listen to Lost Prophets, but I was never really into them. They were more like pop rock and punk rather than heavy metal.
I think it was more the fact that it was like, God, it sounds so bad to say this, a safe gig.
Yeah,
at the time, because I was seated.
Yeah.
It was just me and my friend. We were seated. We got dropped off. We got picked up. Like, there was nothing, Anyway, this festival came into Brighton, and it was called Taste of Chaos. And I really wanted to go. I really, really wanted to go. And my mum was like, I'm not really sure, because you're young and, it's going to be busy. So my brother stepped up and I was like, I'll take her. So we went to this festival, this gig together, and I didn't realise my mum had given him some money so I could buy my first hoodie, and I don't have it, and I'm gutted. It was a Killswitch Engage hoodie, and I can remember it as if I brought it yesterday. And Killswitch there, and it is such a surreal thing to think of now, because the venue, it's not a massive venue. They do a lot of, like, politicians go there a lot, to the Brighton Centre for something. And as the festival was finishing, we came downstairs to leave, and Killswitch were just finishing off their meet and greet. And this was when Howard was the front man, and I was obsessed with Killswitch. They were my favourite band at the time. And my brother was like, "Do you want to meet him?" I was like, "No, I'm too scared." And he grabbed a flyer off the... I've still got this. A Dire Straits flyer off the wall. He grabbed my arm and he pulled me to meet them. And I got a hug from each of them, because my brother was like, "This is my sister. She really wants to meet you, but she's quite nervous." Yeah. So that was my first experience.
What year do you think this was?
I can find out for you, but I can't remember. I feel like...
Give a rough estimate.
2007? 2006, maybe?
Because for me, I wasn't aware of a lot of these bands in 2005, 2006, 2007. At that point, I'd only just discovered Bullet for My Valentine. And so I mean, how old were we then? We probably would have been in like sixth form or something like that around about that time.
Yeah, maybe.
But I remember seeing posters for Download Festival when I was in sixth form, and I really wanted to go, but I didn't have anyone to go with. I didn't know who to go with.
No.
But they had some crazy lineups. I mean, when you talk about this kind of music in the late 90s, mid 2000s, this was like peak.
Yeah.
You know, when you had Limp Bizkit, when you had Slipknot and Linkin Park,
Let's see if I can find the date.
you had Kill Switch Engage, you had Marilyn Manson, you had, oh my goodness, I mean, countless bands, and then of course you still have Metallica that were kicking about. You still had Aerosmith in their, well, not in their prime, but they were also still playing gigs and still releasing new music, and AC/DC was still around as well.
Yeah, so
I mean, it was a mad time for music back then, the late 90s. It is, absolutely amazing.
So I'm just trying to figure out which year.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. You don't have to find it specifically.
2005. And I saw The Used, Story of the Year, Kill Switch Engage, Rise Against, in Funeral for a Friend.
Rise Against, blimey, yeah, it's a band I've not heard in a while.
And I went 2 years in a row, but the other thing about growing up in Brighton is that, how do I put this delicately? You fall in with certain crowds who have the same music. So a lot of my relationships were around music at that point, and it got me into music photography, and I met a lot of bands, and I did photography in London and stuff like that, and I've been to so many gigs in Brighton alone. I was so lucky. I think I got exposed to it so quickly because so many bands would come. But I've also seen people like Mark Knopfler and Joe Bonamassa, which isn't for everyone.
It's more like bluesy.
It is, but I can say I've seen Mark Knopfler, not Dire Straits, but Mark Knopfler perform.
Dire Straits, would you call them rock and roll or blues? What would you call them? They're kind of like indie, to be honest, these days, aren't they? They're kind of more like an indie band, is what in the
more up-to-date genres. And I'd say, but I think at their time they were more like a rock and roll
punk
thing.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I remember Joy Division.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? I mean,
I never listened to them.
This is not an old band, but I remember listening to some songs from Joy Division. I mean, the thing is that back in the early 2000s and late 90s, access to this music, I don't know about you, but it was impossible. I couldn't get this music. I couldn't buy it because, my mum wouldn't let me buy it. It wasn't on the radio. It wasn't anywhere. There was nowhere we could get this music.
You're the eldest, so you were blocked by your age. I had two older brothers.
Yeah.
So, if my eldest brother brought something home, he would be like, I've got a CD, and we sit in his room and listen to it. But do you know what, though? I did want to show my mum a System of a Down song. And it talks
System of a Down, bloody hell, it's another band.
Absolutely one of my favourite bands.
Crazy. Yeah, how do we forget System of a Down?
Yeah, and it had a certain word in it that I didn't know the meaning to, and my mum explained it to me, and I turned the music off because I was like, this is not appropriate to be in front of my mum.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, but the thing is, though, is that I think a lot of kids of our generation were in a very similar boat where they couldn't find this music. They couldn't get hold of it, even though they really wanted to. And it was almost like as if it was like a mass censorship of it.
Yeah. 100%.
And the only way, and I'm convinced to this day, this is why piracy is so big to this day, is because of music. Mm-hmm. Because kids of my era, my generation, your generation, they wanted to listen to this music. They knew of these bands. They knew of these songs. And they couldn't get hold of them.
They go to
so
LimeWire.
They had to use Napster, LimeWire. They had to use Pirate Bay. I don't know if I should be mentioning this on YouTube.
Maybe not. Maybe censor it.
They might. I might blur those things out. But a lot of the kids of our youth are probably going to
download sites
to
get what they needed. But also, don't forget. I mean, I don't know about you, but back when I was really like. I'd say actually I'm more into it now than I was then, but when I was really like getting into it, I used to buy the Kerrang and Metal Hammer magazines, so I'd either get a DVD or a CD with them. Yeah. And at one point, and it's really embarrassing now, I had a whole wall of just pictures, and I think I had him in there at one point as well. Don't really like him anymore, but I'd have like I'd literally pull out pictures and cut out like Matt Heafy. I had
Matt Heafy is from Tribune, by the way.
Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Remember that some people in our audience might not know who we're talking about, so we do have to be quite specific.
But I had those posters you'd be able to buy from HMV. I used to have a massive Matt Heafy one on my wall, next to the Aston Martin V8 Vanquish picture I had of the same size in my room as well. But yeah, my room was literally covered in these pullouts from these magazines, because it's really hard to a degree, not so much for me, but for other kids, to get their parents to get them scary looking posters. It is really, really hard, because they don't want, like Kiss. That could be intimidating for some people when they look at Kiss and all the makeup.
Yeah.
But then you look at Slipknot, which arguably can be more intimidating, and it's hard to get, It all changed because parents of the late 70s, early 80s, they were worried about punk, and they were worried about thrash, and then parents of the 90s were worried about nu metal. And Slipknot and bands like that. And the thing is, like, my dad, even to this day, he believes that Slipknot, even though he somewhat enjoys the music from Slipknot, funnily enough, I don't know why, because he doesn't listen to any of the other bands that we listen to, but he doesn't mind Slipknot. But he believes to this day that it's more of a like the shock factor is what makes them popular, and it absolutely is not. No.
The music is the thing that is amazing. I mean, I left a comment on a video recently. I can't remember what it was about, but I made the claim that Slipknot have become mainstream, but they haven't had to change their style of music.
Like Bring Me
to
changed.
to become to become mainstream. Yeah, Bring Me the Horizon are one of those bands where, even though again back in the mid to late 2000s, I was listening to them an awful lot. But they totally changed and a lot of you probably know Bring Me the Horizon for their softer music, their more poppy, pop rock kind of music. But actually, they're a deathcore band.
Our first dance was Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah,
because it was.
No, it's Coldplay. That's what they say anyway when they're at a gig and they say, right, we're gonna play some Coldplay now.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like our music has influenced our lives in so many positive ways. It brought us together. We've been to festivals and gigs together, which we've both been raving about afterwards. But also, our entire wedding playlist was curated by us. And it started in like blues, and it just got heavier and heavier and heavier, didn't it? As the night went on. I walked down the aisle to Song 3 by Stone Sour. But the acoustic version, wasn't it?
Yes, the acoustic, yeah.
And then we signed the paperwork to, was it Survivor? We signed the paperwork to, or was it Fleetwood Mac?
What was that?
I have no idea.
Our dog has knocked something over.
That actually terrified me.
I don't know. Oh, it was the Triumph gear, Daytona gear.
Oh god, that was massive.
It was down there, and Flint must have knocked it over.
See, motorcycles always worm their way back in somehow. And then our first dance was "Follow You" by Bring Me the Horizon. My dad's and my first dance was "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica. Like, it's always integrated. It's some way into our life.
We should be clear in the sense that, yes, we enjoy this kind of alternative music, but we also listen to indie. Yeah. A lot of indie stuff. We also listen to drum and bass. We do enjoy drum and bass as well. I absolutely love Pendulum.
And I do like the old Beyonce song.
Well, yeah.
Because she is an artist.
But that's the thing. People who are associated with this alternative music, a lot of people don't realise that the music taste that they have is a lot more varied than what someone might expect. Someone who listens to pop music generally only listens to pop music. Someone listens to rap music only generally listens to rap music. Right?
Whereas we like all of it.
Metalheads, we will listen to classic, we'll listen to blues, we'll listen to punk, we'll listen to pop, we'll listen to rap, we'll listen to drum and bass. There's so many dubstep. I mean, you don't hear that anymore, do you? But there's so many genres of music that metalheads would actually listen to and appreciate.
Yeah. I saw the cutest video I have to tell you about today.
Okay.
So you know how Kelly Osbourne is with...
married to Sid.
I don't think she's married, but she's with Sid
okay.
from Slipknot, and they've had a young boy, Sid Jr., also called Sid.
Yeah.
So Kelly takes young Sid to as many Slipknot gigs as she can. And there's a video, and you see Slipknot playing in the background.
Just Kelly Osbourne is the daughter of Ozzy Osbourne, by the way.
Yeah, if you're not sure who the Osbournes are.
The godfather of heavy metal.
Yeah. So Kelly Osbourne's father is Ozzy Osbourne. Her partner is from Slipknot. I mean, that's just legacy.
I mean, yeah, what a legacy.
So there's a video, and you've got Slipknot playing, and the video pans, and it's the baby turning around playing with baby metal. And he's more interested in baby metal than he is with his own dad playing. I just thought it was really sweet. It's a really sweet little video.
It is funny how... Because we talk about the so-called good old days, you know, where we were growing up, we were listening to this music. But actually, there's a lot of it that... A lot of bands that are coming through to this day that are some of our favourites.
Yes, yeah.
Right now. You know, bands that have got started maybe in the last 10 years. So, yeah, we do stay fairly up to date with what bands are coming around.
Oh, yeah, we're not stuck with, like, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Linkin Park.
And unfortunately, that's kind of... Anyone who listens to Iron Maiden back in the 80s, or anyone who listened to Metallica back in the 80s might not be all that interested in the music of today. But I don't know why, but I still love a lot of bands that are coming through.
Yeah, I do.
Because was it like a scientific study or something like that they were like when it comes to music, your brain gets hardwired by the time you get to like 30 years old in the type of music taste that you appreciate, that you enjoy. I've never had that.
No, I haven't.
I've always been very much open to listening to new music from new bands that are coming along, or maybe even bands that have kind of changed their style a little bit.
The way I see it is that if I closed myself off to, you know, and I was like, no, I'm only a metalhead, and I only listen to these 5 bands I've been listening to since I was 18 or whatever, the only person who's suffering there is me. Yeah. You know, I'm the only one that's missing out, because as we get older, these bands that we were growing up and going to see, like Rammstein, like Slipknot, Metallica, and we've seen all those, haven't we? We've been really fortunate. Yeah. They're going to stop touring. Yep. And then what do we have? If we didn't move with the times and experience these new bands, we have nothing. Yeah. I mean, there are bands we've listened to, and we've really, really liked them to the point we've gone to see them, and then their music styles completely changed, and we don't listen to their new stuff anymore, but we sort of their old stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they go a bit too far in a different direction, and it kind of puts you off a little bit. But no, I mean, some bands that we have seen recently in concert, I mean, we've seen Of Mice and Men, which, to be fair, actually, they made their start in the mid-2000s.
I didn't know
as a MySpace band.
Oh my gosh!
Do you not know about the whole MySpace band movement? A lot of bands that we might be aware of today probably made their start on MySpace, funnily enough. But yeah, so Of Mice and Men, we've got Wage War, we've got While She Sleeps. These are all kind of bands of the last 15 years or so, 15, 20 years. Crossfaith. I mean, Baby Metal. Yeah, that's a big one as well. We've got Slaughter to Prevail more recently as well. Although they're a Russian band, but they are in protest of what's going on in Ukraine and all that.
Yeah, they've done a whole album of protest.
So I'm happy to listen to them. But yeah, there's a ton of bands. Well, Electric Callboy. Yeah. That's one that we've been listening to a lot recently. Absolutely love Electric Callboy.
And also, one that I do want to give an honourable mention to is Linkin Park. Because with their new singer, she's absolutely amazing.
You're absolutely right.
And I know that a lot of people think it's really disrespectful to Chester, who was the lead singer and unfortunately took his own life.
I don't like seeing talent go to waste.
No.
When you've got all the other band members that are very good at producing music.
And this is the thing. she isn't trying to be Chester. She brings this whole new sound.
Even though she can sing like him.
She really can hold a note. My God.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But she is so good.
Yeah.
So for me, they need to be mentioned because it's reignited my love for the band again. And I've even gone back and listened to older songs and thought, I really hope she does a cover of this because I really want to hear her do it.
Again, Linkin Park is one of the weird bands where they have such varied styles of music between one album to the next. I mean, their early stuff is quite consistent, but then as soon as they got to Minutes to Midnight, their third album, third/fourth album, depending on if you count Reanimation as an album. But it kind of started shifting then, even though the very first song, was it Given Up? That's the very first song of Minutes to Midnight. That's a great song.
Yeah.
And then it kind of falls off a little bit. It gets quite soft after that.
You go to like Castle of Glass, and that's like...
Well, Castle of Glass is a great song.
It's great song.
But that's on a later album.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it does get softer.
Yeah.
They do bring in a few more like ballady type songs, don't they? But then we also like bands like Airborne, who are more modern,
I love Airborne,
but have a sound that's an older sound.
So the criticism that people have of Airborne is that they think that they're like AC/DC. They're basically just AC/DC wrapped in another
container.
Right?
Yeah.
No, they might have certain stylistic influences from AC/DC, but they also have influences from Motley Crue. You can hear that a lot in their music, but they're a whole new band. Airborne are very, very good. And I heavily recommend that you give them a listen.
Yeah, they're
especially
really
if you
good.
like AC/DC and Motley Crue, definitely check out Airborne. Especially their first album. Their first album is wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a band. A Day to Remember.
We could actually talk about this all day, to be honest with you.
Honestly, you guys, we have... I mean, the thing is, my Spotify playlist is, or my Spotify library has changed because we have a family account. And the account that was the primary account, which was mine, kept on getting tampered with by my mum and dad and stuff who also have their own Spotify accounts as part of this family pack. So I had to use a different license within the Spotify family pack so I had my own stuff. And so, you know, like if my mum and dad would use their Google Homes to play music, it would always play through my account.
Yeah.
Even though they had their own. And even though the Google Homes were linked to their own accounts, it would still play through mine, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah.
So I've had to basically start my Spotify
library
from scratch. But every time I die, that's another great band. We could go on all day. I mean, you love Queen as well. There's
Queen.
Loads of. I appreciate Queen as well.
It is probably Queen is one of my all-time favourite bands.
I've been appreciating more recently Creedence Clearwater.
Yeah, I like that.
They're great. Pink Floyd are great as well. I mean, the Beatles. I
love the Beatles.
I don't like the Beatles.
You don't like them?
I appreciate kind of what they did in terms of the development of music, because we arguably wouldn't have heavy metal as we know it without the Beatles. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Because Beatles are like bluesy, aren't they? They're bluesy, jazzy, maybe a little bit rock and roll. But you wouldn't have Black Sabbath if it wasn't for the Beatles. You wouldn't have Pink Floyd if it wasn't for the Beatles. And then if you just like point your finger at the creation of new bands and their influences and where they came from, a lot of them will say the Beatles.
Or just watch that scene from School of Rock.
Yeah, where they literally have I can't remember what the diagram's called, but it's almost like a brainstorm, isn't it?
It's like a spider graph almost.
Yes, yeah, and they've got like blues, jazz, they've got heavy metal, thrash, punk. Yeah, they've got all these bands.
Like bands
it's amazing.
That like link it all up.
It's amazing. And let's not forget, I mean, you had bands like the Sex Pistols from back in the day, you know, very heavily big in the punk scene of the 70s that, again, had huge influence in the music that we listen to today. So, yeah, even though I don't necessarily listen to a lot of these kind of classic bands, I still
the
appreciate...
appreciation is there.
Because so from the Beatles and blues, you get a rock and roll, and then from there you get heavy metal, thrash, and then to what we have today. But on the opposite end of the scale, that's where indie comes from. Indie music, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'm trying to think of other indie bands, but none are coming to mind at the moment. Well, like the Killers, the Kaiser Chiefs. What other bands? There's loads of indie bands. I mean, you could even make the argument Mumford and Sons.
I like
as
them.
well. Arguably, folk rock.
I've seen them
kind
as
of
well. They're really.
from,
They've got
you
some
know.
amazing stage presence. They're really good live.
Yeah, I bet they are. Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing, kind of putting this all out on the table and exploring our influences and where that came from and our appreciation for music as a whole. But okay, let's before we sign off, because
we're nearly going for an hour.
We're a little bit late, but before we sign off today, favorite song right now.
My favorite song right now is there's two. So song 3 by Thought to Prevail with Baby Metal.
That's funny. Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Or the one that plays directly after, and now you put me on the spot, I can't remember what it's called. Russian Grizzly in America?
Russian Grizzly in
by
America.
Thought to Prevail.
Yeah.
Two of my all-time favourite songs right now, but if I had to add, if you were like, no, you have to have a different band, then...
Why'd you have to have a different band?
I don't know, just because it's two of the same songs. But if I went a slightly different route, because I can't pick just one song, it's too hard.
I know it's hard.
I also love Hurricane by Electric Callboy. A song that's always been really dear to me in my heart and I love a lot is Made in Heaven by Queen. That song just does stuff to me I can't explain. I've just got so many. I can't. And I reprimand you for asking me that question.
It is impossible. Because if you ask me the same thing, I'd be in a very similar boat.
Yeah, I can't pick just one. It depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah, it does. One week I'd say Rammstein, or another week I'd say Metallica, or another week I'd say Linkin Park. So I mean, for me, I think. The song I've been listening to the most by far is probably Elevator Operator.
Electric Callboy.
By Electric Callboy.
It's a really good song.
It's one of their latest songs, but they have so many good ones.
MC Thunder, a fantastic song.
I prefer We Got the Moves.
Oh, another good song.
So, but like there's so many great songs. I mean. Like, for some reason, Municipal Waste came into my head.
Oh, really? I haven't listened to them for a while.
So they're another band. I mean, they call themselves new thrash, like a new thrash metal, but they've been going for 25 years, 30 years. I love Testament as well. You guys, I'm a thrash guy. At heart, I'm a thrash guy.
If you guys watched the Olympics opening ceremony in Paris,
Gojira,
and you heard that metal, that metal song, that's Gojira.
Gojira.
I like Gojira.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. So again, you've probably listened to stuff and gone, "Oh, what's that?" And without realizing, it's they're a massive band and they're great.
There's so many good things, especially right now. So much good music in this genre right now.
Yeah. Sport for choice, really.
If you are one of those people who kind of might have an interest in this music, but you don't really know where to start, you don't really know where to look, then hopefully some of the bands that we mentioned today are a good place to start. And especially now that with YouTube, you can listen to this music all on YouTube for free. You don't need to pay for Spotify or anything like that. You could get it all for free. And I think even on Spotify, you can use the free plan.
You can. You just get ads.
You get ads, and I think I don't know if you can pick what comes next on the playlist or something like that. I think Spotify automatically chooses the music that you listen to based off of that genre. I can't remember. I don't know.
Pretty sure you can. It's basically like using Spotify like normal, but you just have ads at the end of certain songs.
But there's what I'm trying to say is there's so much more access to this music now than there ever was.
Yeah.
Arch Enemy.
Oh God. Yeah, really good.
Every time I think about it,
Butcher
I just think of another Butcher Babies. Another band just comes up.
And that's one thing. I have 2 points to make before we sign off, but I'll do one of them while we're signing off.
Yeah.
The one thing I absolutely adore right now, and I've found an appreciation for in the last sort of 5 years or so, the amount of females coming through.
Yeah, and absolutely.
I love it. I absolutely love it because it's not just a male dominated genre anymore. The women are coming through and my God, can they sing. And it's just insane. What's
that there was another band, oh my God, I can't remember their names, but they're very, very good. Again, female.
Hailstorm.
Yes, Hailstorm. Yeah, again, really good. Female led, absolutely
We
brilliant.
caught them at Download, didn't we? And
Yeah.
she
Wow.
blew me away.
Wow, just incredible. Yeah, it's great. I love it because it used to be a very male-dominated scene, and now you're getting so much of this. It's almost like a new revolution of this music because you have so many women coming through, putting their own spin on this stuff, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Idols.
I mean, we could talk about music
Hours.
all day,
Hours and hours
every
and hours.
day. You know, we are music nerds,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I know that some of our audience would be interested in listening to this stuff. A lot of you probably won't be, but we are trying to use this platform to talk about different things. You know, not just bikes all the time. Even though that's the primary focus.
Yeah.
We do want to try and branch out a little bit into some other things that are important to us.
Yeah, so with that being said, I mean, if there's anything, like we said, this is a way for you to get to know us in a way that's fun, and it kind of exposes like our influences, what's got us to where we are, why we like the things we like. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about, like our favourite movie genres, you know, things like that, just let us know, and if we can, we will.
Thing is, though, I don't know how to explain this, but music got me through school.
Oh yeah.
I
Same.
hated school. It was one of the worst times of my life. I'm so much happier now. Ever since I left school, I was so much happier, but music is what got me through it. And I was depressed. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated school. The bullying was awful. The pressure was awful. Life gets easier after school.
It does. You just have to power through school.
And so I'm never going to stop listening to music because
Yeah.
it's really helped me over the years. And 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 that's what music should do. You know, it should do that. It should motivate you. It should get you through those hard times. I mean,
100%.
well, Fluffy, he recently said in a gig that he found country music when he got split from his partner, and I found that amazing.
Yeah,
I found that
even just
amazing.
watching that one scene, you could insert metal,
Anything,
rap,
Anything,
whatever your
yeah.
genre is,
anything.
and guaranteed you will be able to link. I'll be honest, I do like country music.
Yeah, fair
Brad
enough.
Paisley, Keith Urban, Garth Brooks, love them.
Yeah.
Always have. I've got like 5 Brad Paisley albums. I love him.
Yeah, I'm not into it personally, but
I don't listen to it much anymore.
Thing is, though, but I understand.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like rap music, but I
you
get it.
You appreciate
I get
it.
it. I understand it. I
you
get it.
respect the
Yeah.
art. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I get why people enjoy it, and I
Yeah.
get why people are motivated by it.
That's it.
So yeah, I love music. Absolutely love music.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys do as well. But you guys let us know down in the comment section below what your music tastes are, what your music inspirations are, and what periods of your life it's helped you through. Let us know. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, please, if you've enjoyed this little discussion today, then go ahead and leave that like, hit that subscribe button down there, and give us a bit of feedback on it as well. If this is the kind of stuff that you would like to hear more of, or you would like us to talk about more, different things, as opposed to just bikes all the time, let us know down in the comment section.
And come and see, because you're going to be on my channel as well, Steve,
Yep.
aren't you? So come
Yep.
and see what we're going to talk about. My channel's obviously very different, so we're going to be exploring more of the stuff that I talk about. So yeah, come and catch Goblin RIDES on my channel, and
Absolutely.
and you'll see something very, very interesting conversation, I think. So
There you guys. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next video. Everyone, you take care. You ride safe. Have a good one.
listen well.